Hello, YouTube. This is VidHead85, and thank you so much for joining me. This episode here is just a regular VidHead85 episode, but I really want to talk a little bit about sex, and I want to talk about it in the context of waiting for marriage. Now, I remember seeing a couple of Christian vloggers where they were advocating abstinence until marriage, and then they got married, and then suddenly they're talking about spicing up your marriage. And I'm just like, wait a minute, hold on. This is a little awkward seeing this from you, because weren't you just preaching like a year ago on your timeline? None of that. And now all of a sudden, while you're not holding up toys in your hand here, you're talking about spicing up the relationship and things and experimenting and all that. And it's supposed to be in the context for Christian wives, most likely, but it's just awkward because that's not the message that you've been consistent on for a long time. So in your Tango article, which I will put a screen cap somewhere on the screen, what happens is this woman says that she made a vow to God at 10 to be sexually pure, and she regretted it. Now, for the longest time, that vow had defined her. She grew up in a conservative church, and she wanted to save herself for marriage. And then when she finally did, she regretted it, because now this thing that was supposed to be wonderful because she was married was still the programming that she had in her head still held it as sinful, even though she was doing it in the right way according to her church. This is the problem with sexuality and the way that it's looked at in America. It's looked at through the narrow lens of religion. And honestly, I used to be in that bubble, and it is not a bubble that I will ever return to. Because of the simple fact that it's looked at as it's okay in marriage and it's going to be the best thing you've ever had, I'm like, okay, well, great, but if I only ate Spam, it's going to be the best meat I've ever had because I don't have anything else to compare it to. And I'm not trying to say that women are different meat products or anything. I'm just making a point that for some people, they did not regret it, and they have no frame of reference because they have no other lovers that they've taken. And that's okay. That was the decision they made, and that's fine. They like it. A lot of people, especially if they got married young, probably did not live and explore who they were before they got married, and now sexuality is this thing that's big and open, but now they can't do it because they're married, and they would feel odd if they were to explore it because now they're married and they have this guilt that's been drilled into them for such a long time. And when they're no longer virgins because they're married, it's almost like, yeah, you did it the right way, but you're not a prize anymore. Or maybe they'll kind of look at it in passing and say, she waited till she was married to have sex, and look at it, you can too. But this woman regrets having sex or waiting for marriage because now she is in a place where the way she was brought up and how she's leaning now is no longer compatible. And that is why I don't like abstinence-only sex education, because the Bible Belt is the buckle of the teen pregnancy belt. Now, I am not shaming a teen mother. I would not do that. But the main thing is, the less they know about medically accurate sex education, the likelier they are to get pregnant early and then feel like they're missing out on their 20s because they now have a kid. So this woman who made a pledge to God at 10, she decided to be sexually chaste until she was married, and now feels guilty because it was supposed to be this big great thing. Now it is causing a crisis of faith for her. She's no longer religious. She's no longer in that programming. But it is really crazy because people are telling you that if you do it this way, it's going to be great because you did it that way. However, it's not real. It's not real in a way that because you did it that way, it doesn't make it all better. There are way more angles of this to look at, And a lot of people, especially in the religious community, don't see the other angles because they're pushing just one. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this. You have a wonderful day. And I'm going to have a companion video, so I'm going to link that right here because I'm going to upload them at the same time. Talk to you later.